Bayern Munich is now fearful of what Mikel Arteta's Arsenal might do this summer, and David Ornstein reveals that Arsenal is closely monitoring the £30 million Premier League sensation. Want to know all the details? Then, follow me until the end of the video to not miss any important information. But before that, if you're also passionate about Arsenal, subscribe to the channel now and stay up to date with everything that happens behind the scenes at the Premier League's biggest team. Without further ado, let's get to today's updates. Arsenal is on the verge of renewing the contract of manager Mikel Arteta, according to information from the Jeff Arsenal profile. This comes after the announcement of Jurgen Klopp leaving Liverpool after 9 years. Klopp cited a lack of energy as the reason for his departure. Liverpool is in search of a new manager, with Xabi Alonso being the front-runner. Despite speculation about Premier League managers like Roberto De Zerbi, Arsenal seems secure with Arteta, who has overcome challenges and is now being rewarded with a contract extension after successfully rebuilding the club. Bayern Munich are now terrified of what Mikel Arteta's Arsenal could do this summer. The Gunners have had a quiet January transfer window and nothing is expected to happen in the next few days. In the summer, however, we will surely be more active, and Zubimendi is a player who has been heavily linked with a move to the Emirates. Bayern Munich are afraid Arsenal will sign Martin Zubimendi. Martin Zubimendi has been on Arsenal's radar for over a year now. The Real Sociedad star is one of the best midfielders in La Liga. He has been magnificent in Spain, and it's no surprise that Mikel Arteta wants to bring him to Arsenal. However, the Gunners aren't the only club keen to sign him. Bayern Munich want Zubimendi too. That's according to Christian Falk, who wrote in his fact files today that the Spanish midfielder is Thomas Tuchel's #1 target for the summer transfer window. However, the journalist has claimed that Arsenal's interest has terrified Bayern, who are now worried Arteta will lure Zubimendi to the Emirates. Falk wrote, Martin Zubimendi is the #1 target for Bayern in front of João Palhinha. He has a release clause of €60 million, which is why he's so interesting. Bayern Munich are pushing for him, and it's also interesting that Xabi Alonso is with the same agency. Bayern executives are watching him closely as a potential coach for the Bavarian outfit. Bayern also heard that Mikel Arteta is already talking to the player. They're both Spanish as well, which is a big advantage for Arsenal. Bayern were very sure that they would lead the race for Zubimendi, but now that Arsenal are there, they're afraid of the Gunners and afraid that Mikel Arteta could take this player away, which had been a planned move for the summer. Arsenal can beat Bayern again. Arsenal and Bayern Munich seem to targeting the same players over the last 6 months. The Bundesliga winners were really keen to sign Kai Havertz, Declan Rice and David Raya in last summer's transfer window, but unfortunately for them, all 3 players chose Arsenal. Martin Zubimendi is a phenomenal player. It's no surprise that he's being chased by huge clubs, but we're pretty convinced Arsenal can beat Bayern again, considering the Spaniard plays for Mikel Arteta's old side, and is from the same region as our boss. Bayern are used to missing out on their targets and seeing them end up at Arsenal. That's probably why they're afraid we'll sign Zubimendi too in the summer. Arsenal are now monitoring £30 million for revelation. A surprise deal could now be on the cards, as Arsenal have been linked with Leicester City midfielder Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. The 25-year-old became a first-team regular with the Foxes whilst in the Premier League, and continued with them following their surprise relegation. However, he could be set to exit the King Power Stadium. The midfielder has been linked with several Premier League clubs, but Arsenal have now been named as an interested party, despite their inability to complete big deals in the January window thanks to financial fair play regulations. Arsenal are monitoring Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. Journalist David Ornstein has now confirmed in The Athletic that Brighton, Brentford, Arsenal and Fulham are all interested in the Leicester star, and his club would want in excess of £30 million for him. Among the other admirers of Dewsbury-Hall are Arsenal and Fulham, though Brighton are emerging as the leading contenders at present, the report claimed. It seems that Brighton are out in front ahead of Arsenal in any potential deal, but the player is being admired by Mikel Arteta and his scouting staff. Dewsbury-Hall to Arsenal transfer is unlikely. It seems highly unlikely that the central midfielder will end this window at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal cannot afford his asking price right now, and even if they were keen on waiting until the summer window, The current interest from other sides will likely prevent any possible loan-to-buy scenario. The Leicester midfielder has scored 9 and assisted 9 times in 31 appearances this season. But Arsenal already have plenty of options in his position, including Kai Havertz, Emile Smith-Rowe and Fabio Vieira. Brendan Rodgers previously described Dewsbury Hall as a revelation, and whilst he is a talented player, it would be a major shock if he ends up at the Emirates despite Arsenal's admiration for him. Unless there was to be a shock departure, with Vieira recently linked with clubs in League One, other positions would be prioritised over attacking midfielders, with Ezequiel Palacios also linked with a move. Dewsbury Hall would provide strong end product from midfield, but stepping up from the Championship to a club challenging at the top of the Premier League would not be easy, and perhaps Arsenal's interest is merely simple admiration of his age, position and profile. Partey is back. Arsenal have been handed a major boost as Thomas Partey returned to training this week, but there will still be fears of further injury when he makes his comeback. Partey has been one of Arsenal's most injury-prone players since his arrival in 2020, and he has missed the majority of this season in a huge blow to Mikel Arteta. The 30-year-old started the season as an inverted right-back, but has not started since August as he struggled with multiple problems, with Arteta later expressing his frustration that his tactical plans had been scuppered by his absences. Arsenal have a trip to Nottingham Forest on Tuesday before a huge game in the title race at home to Liverpool next Sunday. And if Partey can play a part, he could be the difference between victory and defeat. However, there does need to be some caution. Speaking on his YouTube channel, journalist Charles Watts explained that Partey should not start against Forest, but a substitute appearance could prepare him for a potential return to the starting 11 against Liverpool. For me, I think the best thing is to give him half an hour in the second half against Nottingham Forest, get some minutes into his legs. Then he can be ready to get at least to the 60 or 70 minute mark against Liverpool, because that game is so huge, he stated. Partey has not featured since he came off the bench in a victory against Manchester City in October, and starting him immediately would represent a high risk of re-injury. Arteta cannot repeat mistake over Thomas Partey. In Partey's first season, he missed over a month of action with injury, but made a surprise start in a North London derby. Just before half-time, Partey walked over to the touchline for treatment for a problem, but Arteta ushered him back onto the pitch, and he picked up another injury which kept him out for a while. Rushing him back only led to further trouble, and Arsenal will need Partey to stay fit for as long as possible in order to claw their way back into the title race. If he isn't fit enough to start against Liverpool, then there will be little gained by shoehorning him in. However, it would be a good boost to have him even for one half of football if it is possible. Well, folks, those were today's news. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay informed about everything happening with our beloved team, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel now and hit the bell so you won't miss any updates. Thanks for joining us, and see you in the next video.